Sweeping in overhead the feature match area, Amsterdam, the Netherlands, where it is 4:45 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, and we are going to see Mexico versus Ireland. And we have a quick stomping ground right off the bat.
Yeah, and Ben Hexpress really looking to start with Avicen's Pilgrim here, but unfortunately for Dalibor, he does not actually have that.
Okay. After Sean Fitzgerald plays his Temple Garden into a Blood Crypt on the other side. And Hallowed Fountain. And that Burning Earth from last round be doing work already.
Yeah. Looks like the Jund deck did miss its turn 2 Farseek, which is what it's generally looking for. So it looks like both players might be on somewhat land-light hands here. As well, it looks like Band Hex, they both they both ended up figuring it out. So they both are going to hit their 3rd land drop. And Bonfire of the Damned is one of the few ways in the format to kill Invisible Stalker.
Yep. That's right, because it kills all of, or deals damage to all of the creatures.
So it looks like the Band Hexproof deck's doing just fine, though. A hand of double Fiendslayer Paladin and a bunch of enchantments is pretty much exactly what you want to see.
There we are, with one of the Fiendslayer Paladins.
So the Jund deck was also short on mana, so it has a potential of missing here, but it looks like it hit, which is good, because it means that a Huntmaster of the Fells can come out fairly early.
He did hit a Dragon Skull Summit.
That's why he's sitting beside me. I do it way too much.
And I actually watched Team Mexico play one of their limited rounds, and so that was pretty entertaining to watch. Sean Fitzgerald, they're debating what he wants to drop, but doesn't have a ton of options. Dreadbore does not get around the Paladin's pseudo protection.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Token. Oh, that has my surname on it.
Huntmaster of the Fells brings along a friend.
Your turn.
Sean Fitzgerald goes to 22. Dalibor Trink is already down to 15 due to that bonfire and a couple of shocks.
Yeah, that's going to change very soon, both those players' life totals. I think this turn's going to be kind of a beating. Ethereal Armor Rancor is really exactly what you want to be doing in this deck.
And Rancor.
There we have it. Looks like 10 damage.
That's a big swing back.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And the Rancor giving it trample means chump blocking really doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, Fiendslayer Paladin is kind of a beating here. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is not only hitting for 10 points of lifelink damage, but also getting around the Dreadbore that is in Sean Fitzgerald's hand.
Yeah, Liliana is kind of what he needs here, huh?
Yeah, he only has Liliana, looks like, in the sideboard, so he's gonna be in trouble here. Pretty much unless he draws, I don't know, not even a Putrefied is also, similarly evaded. And it has 8 toughness, so Bonfire of the Damned's got some work to do.
Okay, he's gonna swing in for 4 with Huntmaster and the Wolf, then cast the Thragtusk, which will bring him back up to 17. But that's still only 2 hits from this Fiendslayer Paladin.
Yeah, and if Dalibor really wants to, he can actually just put an Unflinching Courage on his guy and just completely just get in there. Adding another 4 points of power to it.
Okay, doing the math?
Yes, 14.
14.
Yeah,
14.
Because even though the Unflinching Courage is +2/+2, it now boosts both the Ethereal Armors by 1.
Of course, the problem for Sean Fitzgerald here is not just that his life total is getting massacred, it's that Dalibor is gaining all the life as well because Fiendslayer Paladin has lifelink.
Yeah, he's now going up to 35. This game is fairly out of Sean's reach.
Already a result in from table 2.
Top deck, I don't know. We'll see when I draw.
Me either.
Looks like Martian Sosinski has Colonian Hydra into Colonian Hydra.
Take 11, make a wolf.
Yeah, that will do it.
Taken that game from Mexico.
Yeah.
14,
So it sounds like there's a Gavny Township involved too, which, yeah, that's a lot of counters.
That's a lot of counters.
I wonder if they ran out of dice.
All right. Sean Fitzgerald looking for a miracle.
Yeah, not finding one. One thing worth noting in this matchup too is that Huntmaster of the Fells can actually kill Fiendslayer Paladin because when it flips, even though it's red, it's not a spell.
Island 6 indeed.
Of course, that would mean that the opponent has no auras to play on it that turn, which is not really all that likely to happen.
Coming in this round is Team Ireland, 3 wins and a draw. Team Mexico currently undefeated at 4-0.
Oh, okay, so it's even a pair down. So Team Mexico is looking like they're going to make day 2 already, but it's very important that they play these rounds for tiebreaker purposes. As we found out last year in the World Magic Cup, being the top seed in your pod is actually huge.
Yeah, I mean, there's a scenario where if you're the top seed, you can go 1 and 2 and still pass into the next round.
Exactly, and if you're bottom seed and you go 1 and 2, you can never make it.
Right.
And if you go 2 and 1 at bottom seed, there's a scenario where you miss.
Right.
When 3 teams go 2 and 1 and 1 team goes 0 and 3.
All right, another Huntmaster comes down for Sean Fitzgerald to bring another wolf with it. He's at 8, so he's calculating how much he's going to have to soak up here and still survive. So he's gonna swing in.
Yeah, and his calculations are going to end up being upset by the second unflinching courage here.
There it is.
Not that he was winning even if he didn't have that.
Way too much, says Sean Fitzgerald. He scoops him up, and this match is going to game 2.
Looks like a pretty match full of epic haymakers here. It was a 14 power unflinching courage to guy in one hand and 2 Colonial Hydras going infinite in the other.
So what's Dak Faden is the greatest thief in the multiverse. Follow his adventures in the Magic the Gathering, a comic produced by IDW. Special promo card unique to the IDW comic series comes with each issue. Find out more about these comics at wizards.com/magic merchandise. We're going to pop over to the middle table.
Yeah, it looks like Jund versus Blue-White Red, which is going to be a little slower than the other 2 matchups we have here. I would imagine those other 2 matches are going to finish at a slightly faster clip. So,
little consultation going on over there, Team Ireland.
Yeah, they're feeling the heat, I can tell.
So, going to game 2 over here, what do you see as sideboard options?
So, if they're going to game 2 in the middle table, we've got the Blue-White Red deck looking to side in likely Thundermaw, Hellkite, and Assemble the Legion. Those have been fairly popular sideboard cards in the past. And then Supreme Verdict and Oblivion Ring can also come in. There's a danger with boarding an Oblivion Ring if the opponent has Abrupt Decay and Acidic Slime. But oh,
okay. Looks like
the tables got switched around. So it looks like we're actually in the Elf Ball matchup here against Black-White Tokens. So here, I would expect Black-White Tokens to have more of a sideboard plan than the Elf deck, mainly because the Elf deck. Oh. Well, let's go ahead and make sure we've got the right matchups here. It looks like Jund against the Elf Ball deck here. And so the Jund deck is kind of pre-boarded for this matchup. It doesn't have a ton more it can bring in, except Golgari Charm is really big. We've got Golgari Charm, most commonly used to blow up Burning Earth, but in this matchup it actually goes ahead and sweeps a bunch of elves off the board. And like I was talking about earlier, and this actually applies to all the matchups the Elf Ball deck plays against, it doesn't really have much of a sideboard. The main reason being you can't really swap out that many creatures and have the deck still work.
Is this a problem we find in some of the high synergy decks? You know, if you need card A and card B and card C all to work in concert with each other, then it's tougher to remove one of them without upsetting your strategy.
Yeah, it's when you're running a deck with like 12 one-drop elves plus the 4 Archdruids and a bunch of big things to cast. If you take out the small things, the big things get worse, and if you take out the big things, the small things also get worse. It is a combo deck. It's a machine that you can't really take out one of the moving pieces and expect the deck to work. That being said, there are a few wiggle room slots, like Voice of Resurgence, for example, is good against removal, but it's mainly there for counter spells and board sweepers. So if you're not expecting a ton of those, you can bring in stuff like Loxodon Smiter, potentially even Elder Scale Worm, though this doesn't strike me as a matchup where that would be at its best necessarily. So it looks like we've got an opening hand here that doesn't have very many lands.
So
as Emmanuel goes back to the well here.
He's going to go down to 6. We saw a couple of the check cards in his hand.
Yeah, the checklist cards for the double face card, the Huntmaster of the Fells there. The Elf Ball deck's got a fairly optimal hand. It's missing an Elvish Archdruid, but 2 1-drop elves and a Garruk plus 4 lands, one of them being a township. That is mostly what you're looking for.
Okay, Mexico already leading 1-0 in this match. That doesn't look right.
Mexico is up 1 in the other match, but in this particular match, yeah, we heard that the Colonial Hydras actually carried green and white to victory.
But that's a game score, not a match score. We'll get that clarified for you as soon as we possibly can.
So, with a hand like this, it is a little land heavy, but this deck does have a lot of mana sources in it. I mean, besides the only 22 land, it's already got another 16 accelerants, so it's 38 accelerants total. So even though you only have 1 real action spell, that action spell draws you so many more cards that it is generally not a big deal.
All right, so we are correct. The teams are 0-0, and David Tweet leads this match 1-0.
So we've got a kind of borderline hand here with that Emmanuel has, but I would have trouble mulliganing this to 6. It does have a bonfire, and if you draw 1 more land, you can just cast it for 1, which is fairly effective in this matchup. That will hopefully buy you time to draw enough swamps to cast your 2 good double black cards. Both Bard and Blood and Lifebane Zombie are extremely good here, but he's not very close to casting them.
Looks like Emmanuel is going pretty deep in the tank. Nope, he's decided to keep this. There's the stomping ground.
I like the keep, even though I don't love the hand. I don't think he... I think at 7 cards, it's an easy ship if the last card was another black card. At 6 cards, I think he made a wise decision by keeping it.
Right. So there's an Arbor Elf.
As it pays off with Dragon Skull Summit.
So where's critical mass for Emmanuel Ramirez Sanchez here? How many elves does he let David Tweet get in play before he considers...
He's almost assuredly going to want to bonfire these 2 elves. It seems like trying to save it for a 3rd elf is a bit much, especially since you know you're playing against Colonial Hydras. You don't really want him to hit 5 mana on turn 3 here.
Yeah. So Absence Pilgrim, the 2nd drop, and the Arbor Elf gets in for 1 2nd land. That's a Temple Garden for David Tweet. And we see Woodland Cemetery is the rip for Emmanuel Ramirez Sanchez.
Now he does have an option here. He can just play Lifebane Zombie because he's got the double black, since that will strip any potential 5 drop out of Tweet's hand.
There's, well, double Garuk and 3 lands.
So this is kind of bad for Emmanuel here. Even though I think the Lifebane Zombie was the correct play, he actually did miss, which is very hard to do against a 5-card hand out of the green-white deck.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's a deck that has 34 creatures in it. There's a pretty good chance that Lifebane Zombie is going to hit something.
Yeah, as it turns out, Lifebane Zombie can take all of them. So now he knows he has to kill the 2 elves before Tweet hits 6, but if Tweet plays a Gavany Township, he can actually get out of range of Bonfire, which would force Emmanuel to Bard and Blood away his own Lifebane Zombie along with the 2 elves. Of course, he could also just draw a Colonial Hydra here. It looks like a Renounce the Guilds instead. Interesting. I guess Huntmaster of the Fells is a very big problem for the elf deck, so I imagine that's what the Renounce the Guilds came in for.
There's a Gavany Township. Renounce the Guilds.
Looks like Tweet is just going to pass here. I think that's what you want to do because that doesn't give your opponent as many options, since it does make Bonfire a lot worse, but I would be surprised if Emmanuel doesn't want to just try to get rid of the elves as soon as possible. It's a sacrifice, though. It's not an easy one to make, but if you don't barter here, then you know a Garruk is coming out, and a Garruk is really tough to beat. He definitely wants to cast the Farseek he drew, but I think he's rethinking that just because it's rough knowing that your opponent's got double Garruk waiting.
Sanchez attacks in with the Lifebane Zombie, drops Tweet to 17.
And he's just going to go ahead and Farseek. I think he's counting on Bonfire to do the clear-up work he needs it to do, especially since he is going to be able to kill both elves next turn now that he has the 5th mana, assuming that Tweet doesn't use his Township end of turn, but then plays Garruk instead of using Township again. And that does let Bonfire kill both elves and the Garruk once Lifebane Zombie attacks it. It just means that Tweet will get to see 5 cards and pull a bunch of creatures into his hand.
We'll see if Tweet has the read on the Bonfire.
Yeah, so
I mean, he's played around. He hasn't necessarily read it. He just knows that situationally it's good not to throw too much out there because of Sanchez's deck.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any options to play, but by leaving all his mana up and just waiting on the Township, that does represent the threat of using Township into Bonfire. So I think that he's in pretty good shape here. So it looks like Garruk is coming down here.
Yeah.
And +1. Let's see if he can hit all 5. 3, 4. Oh. Unfortunately, he didn't get the full jackpot, but pulling 4 cards off the Garrick is still pretty impressive, including both a Craterhoof Behemoth and a Colonian Hydra, as well as 2 Elves.
Oh, that spells difficult times ahead for Sanchez. We hear that on the back table, Stefano Rampini has taken game 1 from Jose Miguel Lopez.
All right, so game 1 goes to, it looks like, the blue-red-white deck here.
Okay.
The black
David Tweet asking a little question of Judge Matteo Caligari.
Curious what they're wondering here. But it looks like he's going to have to discard this turn because he drew so many creatures off the Garrick. It's a tough problem to have.
Well, he's not really. Is he ever really going to hardcast the Craterhoof Behemoth?
Oh, it certainly can happen. I mean, the deck is built to do that if need be. It's a little harder without the Elvish Archdruid, but he's going to be pretty close to getting there. He has 6 mana already, assuming the Elves don't die, which they probably will. But Garrick is the most common way of the Craterhoof Behemoth entering play.
All right. Manuel Ramirez Sanchez taking a good look at the things that Tweet got off of his Garrick.
I think for the most part, these matchups did break in the way of Mexico's favor, except for I don't think that they would have chosen to play black-white tokens against the red-blue-white deck, just because that is the deck that has Is It Static Casters and Supreme Verdicts, so you're not really looking to play that matchup with your all-creature token deck. All right, so looks like we're pitching something here. Just another land.
All right, untaps for Sanchez.
Oh, that was rough. He just put a bonfire directly into his hand. I don't know. Well, it looks like he was able to hold it in the one hand and actually just play it fast enough. So that worked out. I'm glad to see that. I hate it when players end up missing miracles, and it looks like that will be enough to clear the board. Which honestly,
and he's gonna redirect the damage to David Tweet to the Garrick.
Yeah, I mean that actually would have happened even if he had just cast the bonfire. So that isn't actually a different scenario in any way than had he drawn it versus cast it. So take a look at Garrick here as a kind of the backbone of this deck in a lot of ways. It certainly is what makes it viable to play so many creatures and so few spells.
Elvish Visionary.
Tweet doesn't have enough cards in hand. He wants to go ahead and draw a few more.
Quietly, a really solid card.
Yeah, Elvish Visionary, actually, it's been an underrated engine card for a lot of different decks. Just the fact that it has creature type elf and draws you a card is actually all that it does in most of these decks, but that is enough.
All right.
So
Arbor Elf and Avacyn's Pilgrim, I believe, came down there. We see Barter in Blood ×2 in Emmanuel Ramirez Sanchez's hand to go with a, well, there's Garrick of his own.
Yeah, a slightly different Garrick, but a Garrick nonetheless. So it looks like the second bonfire is coming out here.
Bonfire for 2.
Yeah. No.
And bashing with the zombie.
12.
Tweet goes to 12. Passes the turn back over to Manuel Ramirez. There's good look at Bonfire of the Damned. Been cast twice this time. Red XX normally is a sorcery, miracle cost of just red and X.
Yeah, Tweet's not out of elves yet, though.
Well, he did fill his hand up.
He did.
And there's the second. Nope, no, there's Colonian Hydra.
Yeah, it looks like he caverned it out just in case Emmanuel had a Force of Will ready. Well, Emmanuel's not short of removal spells. He's got, you know, besides the 2 Barter and Bloods, he actually just drew a Mizium Mortars, and he's got the Garrick, though it looks like he's under a little too much pressure to cast it. Mortars is actually a pretty good answer to Colonian Hydra the turn it comes out. It is unfortunate. He's really counting on the zombie to try to win the game here. So he wants to avoid casting Barter as long as possible. He knows that there's a Craterhoof that actually, if he doesn't kill the Arbor Elf, could just come down next turn. Wouldn't attack for that much, but it's still a 5/5 threat in its own right. So his two options here are either just Mortars the Hydra and attack for 3 or attack for 3 and then cast Barter and Blood. Casting a Garruk into and letting the Hydra attack you seems a bit on the risky side.
Okay. Manuel Ramirez Sanchez into the tank. I'm going to extricate myself from this situation. He is asking.
And he's got good options, and I think one reason that he may want to cast the Barter is that even though you give up attacking with the Life Bane because you have to sacrifice it, it unlocks the second Barter in your hand. It lets you cast that one on the following turn, leaving you with a Mortars and a Garruk against hopefully Tweet's kind of reserved or diminished resources here. See, looks like he's gonna run with Mortars and just try to race him with the zombie. It is nice that Tweet doesn't have an answer to the zombie in his deck, so he's kind of committing to the zombie plan at least for now.
Okay, Busy Mortars targeted 4 damage to a creature that you don't control. Of course, it's overload cost of 3 red, red, red.
Looks like it's Garruk time, since Tweet is missing the 8th land for the Crater Hoof, and you really do want to save it for a later date. He could also cast the Absence Pilgrim and then just put Crater Hoof into play, but I think he's looking at doing a little bit more than that with it.
There's Counter Souls, Garruk, Forest. Ooh, that's almost a complete blank.
Yeah, he just hit Elvish Archdruid. That makes his, averages out his Garruks to 5, 5 total over the two uses, which you can't complain too much.
Now, of course, with the new M14 Planeswalker rules, Manuel can actually cast his own Garruk, even though it's a different one. Previous rules would have knocked them both out of play.
Yeah, he would be able to just vindicate Tweet's Garruk here with his own, but now they can both coexist, making beasts and drawing cards as they will. He could also kill the Garruk by using Lifebane Zombie, but I think he might be looking to try to end the game. The problem is he does know Tweet has a Crater Hoof in hand and an Elvish Archdruid, so he knows the 2 out of the 3 cards. And if Tweet were to say cast Elvish Archdruid to put Crater Hoof into play, that would be enough to deal lethal.
Okay, Tweet is at 9.
So he's considering attacking with the Lifebane Zombie here.
Results from the front match. Dalibor Trinka has tied up his match with Sean Fitzgerald. It is 1-1. We will bring you the deciding game in that match as soon as we can.
Yeah, and it looks like Emmanuel I'm sure right now he's counting up how much damage will Crater Hoof Behemoth do to me. And that also doesn't even take into account what happens if Tweet draws a creature that costs 3 or less on his next turn, which he's got plenty of. As well as the Elvish Archdruid do an additional point of damage off the Arbor Elf. So I don't think he wants that Garruk to stay in play. The question is, if you attack Garruk, pump and use Kessig Wolf Run, can you then go for the win next turn? Looks like he's just bashing for 6.
Very aggressive line from Emmanuel Ramirez Sanchez.
How much total?
So Tweet's going to 3, but Tweet can cast Elvish Archdruid, -3 the Garruk, and then attack for lethal, it looks like.
Okay.
Or is he a little bit short? Let's see, 5, 19. No, I believe that does it. He even drew a Voice of Resurgence, so that should be more than enough. So Crater Hoof Behemoth and Garruk teaming up once again.
Is the new Garruk your favoriteest of them all?
I actually like Garruk Relentless the most, just because the whole flip card thing is pretty cool, especially like it gives you a lot of options by tutoring. So
Use that for Crater Hoof. So all my guys get +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is game and match for David Tweet. And it looks like we are not going to bring you to that front mage. Stefano Rampini has just won on the back table. That means that Ireland takes this match 2 games to an unfinished.
And it looks like they've also secured their slot into day 2 here at 4-0-1, which is a very good start.
Mexico drops to 4-1. We are back in the booth. I'm Sheldon Menery. He is Luis Scott Vargas, and we have just brought you round 5 action from the World Magic Cup, where Ireland has taken down Mexico.
Yeah, we had some interesting matches where we had a couple of combo decks actually with Mexico running Bant Hexproof and then Ireland running Elf Ball or Green White Elves, whatever it is you'd like to call it. And they're looking to kind of avoid as much interaction as possible and kill their opponent with their combo, in this case being Craterhoof Behemoth's Garruk Color of Beasts, which we saw work out.
Now, back in the day, combo decks didn't feature creatures. And
Yeah.
now it seems like they do.
Time Spirals and Strokes of Genius and Illusions and Donates and whatnot. Now, I mean, creatures are kind of the name of the game, and I like that. I mean, I think that is why Magic has exploded in popularity. That does mean that when you do find a combo deck, it does involve attacking still.
You have to get in there to the red zone, like we saw David tweet there on the last turn. All his guys got +7, so he was attacking for about 60.
Yeah, they're all getting, I think, +6 there or +5, but it was enough to. It looks like 5. It was enough to do more than enough damage. I mean, he had 3 creatures attacking. That's 15 already. The Craterhoof's a 5 already, and then the Elves were 2 and a 1 respectively. So yeah, he had enough damage there to finish the game. I guess Emmanuel was counting on him not drawing a creature that turn.
The Voice of Resurgence being the one. That
I mean he's got a lot of outs, but Emmanuel was not in a very good spot against the Planeswalker no matter what, especially since the Craterhoof was almost to 8 mana anyway. That it could have just been cast.
Yeah, which is why he took the aggressive line on the previous turn. He's like, I got to win this game, or I know that I'm going to get overrun.
Right. So I think he was in a tough spot no matter what he did there.
Okay, we still have a lot of World of Magic Cup coverage coming to you from Amsterdam in the Netherlands over today. 2 more rounds after this one. We have a full day tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got Return to Ravnica Gatecrash Dragon's Maze Team Sealed, which is an awesome format. We played it at Grand Prix Providence, actually. I had the pleasure of playing that. And then we have more Unified Standard. Unified
Standard, of course, they're going to play the same decks that they were.
Yeah, you're locked in for a tournament, including the top 4 or top 8.
So plenty of action, lots of Magic here still to come on the broadcast. Lots of features. We've got right now in the feature match area, Brian David Marshall.
Hi everybody, this is Brian David Marshall, and I'm here with Marcin Skinski, and a classic Celtic name, and Team Ireland, who have just gone 4-0-1. Marcin, tell us what your expectations were for the Irish team and how it did last year.
Well, so we clearly improved from the last year because we were second last, I think. So our expectation was to just improve on that. And somehow we finished 3-0 the limited and now went 1-0-1, so which is good. I think it's more than we were hoping for, I guess.
You were sitting in the coach's seat for Standard. What was your decision there?
Well, I'm usually playing limited, so I think this is my greatest strength. So I've decided to play limited on the first 3 rounds, and then swap me out to those people that are actually much better than me on constructed.
David, David Tweet, you were playing the green-white elf deck. Yeah. And you're laughing because how do I say your last name? Tweet. Shoot.
I've had several people on Facebook correct me and have me give out to you about it, but it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
What was the decision to play that deck?
Originally we were going to play Bant Jund, Red, White, Blue, but we decided that it would be too harsh on the mana base. It seemed to be quite good. It's kind of all-in, creates lots of threats really, really quickly, and Jund, being one of the most popular decks, just can't handle it at the moment. So that was kind of the idea.
Okay, Stefano, we didn't get any camera time for you. We saw you were pretty behind the 8-ball early on against the Necromancers. How did you come back in that game?
No, I wasn't really back because Necromancer is painful for me, but after a while I can just take too much advantage, like from Sphinx Revelation on Divine Verdict, and so it's a problem, but not so big for me, so it was okay. Yeah.
Classic control player.
It was fine.
And Sean, what are your expectations for the rest of the tournament? What would you like to see happen?
Wow, like our expectations coming into this, none of us have touched Ravnica cards. We didn't really think we were going to be playing that sealed format. We had looked up what pubs we were going to go to tonight and what tourist attractions we wanted to see. So I think our expectations have just blown away. So our thing is enjoy it, and if we can keep winning, that would be awesome.
What do you think it means for the Magic community back home to see you guys doing so well?
Our phones have been going nuts for the past 20 minutes, so we know they're enjoying it. And the fact that we just got a feature match, I spent the first 10 minutes afterwards texting people, just going, go to the website, and yeah, like after our performance last year, you know, a lot of people said Ireland might not be the best Magic hub, might have been written off. Originally, we have a Pro Tour coming up at the end of the year. So, yeah, we're still going to have fun. We're still going to enjoy ourselves. But now it might look like we can actually play Magic as well.
I mean, you wouldn't tell it from the way I pronounce your names, but I'm half Irish, so I'm pulling for you guys. For Team Ireland, this is Brian David Marshall sending it back to the booth.
All right, a little fun and honesty from Sean Fitzgerald. So. Team Ireland, kind of the Team Scotland of last year. You know, Scotland came in basically had the same attitude. Well, you know, we're not really sure we're going to do all that well, and they did extremely well. So we'll see another. This will be one of our Cinderella stories. That's it for round 5 action here from the booth. We're going to head it back to the news desk. I'm Sheldon Menery. He's Luis Scott Vargas.
Hey guys, welcome back to the booth. Marshall Sutcliffe, and I have a very busy man sitting beside me. He goes by the name Rich Hagan. Rich, what's been going on out there? That was a pretty quick round. I can't imagine there's a ton of results in.
No, there aren't a ton of results, Marshall, but there are a couple of very significant ones. I want to take you to table 4, which was France against Brazil. So that's Raf Levy, Stéphane Soubrier, the GP London champion Timotei Simoneau there, and Jan Guthmann. They were up against Brazil, Willie Adel, Alison Abe, starting at 3-1. So essentially the winner here, we think, pretty much safely into day 2, going to 4-1, and that's Raf Levy and co. in 4-1. Well done to France. They're 4-1. Hard to see them getting beaten because, again, you have to find 32 teams that are either already on 4 wins, and then or 32 teams that go higher than 4 wins before France get knocked out on tiebreak. So realistically, France through at 4-1. Brazil 1 away. They're now at 3-2. Further down the field, Finland against the Philippines. That's 2-2, and it's a real pivotal round 5, because you go to 2-3, then it's like have to win the last 2, see what tie breaks might mean for you. Win this one, you get to 3-2, and you have to think you win either of the last 2 rounds, you're probably in good shape. So for a ton of teams on 2-2, big matches here, and Max Scherblum and Sami Hegfist amongst the Finnish national team, they've defeated the Philippines by 2-1. Now, the first significant casualty of the weekend. I think we can say now definitively that we will not see a repeat of last year's final, because Puerto Rico, by my calculations, are done. They are on 4 points right now. They've just lost to China. Bo Lee, the 2009 World Team Champion, leading their team. They've defeated Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico on 4 points, 1 win, 1 draw, 3 losses now, and that means even if they win twice more, they will only get to 10 points, and I really think that 12 is going to be the cutoff. Something very strange would have to happen to find even that 10 points, because they've lost so early. It's not like they've been brought back to the field. Losing early, very bad news under this tie-break system. So it looks to me like Puerto Rico, your first big casualty. And Marshall, that's pretty much all we've got. 3 or 4 results in. One more to just bring you. Chile over Venezuela. That's Felipe Tapia Becerra, of course, the Rookie of the Year. So they are up now to 4 wins and 1 loss over Venezuela. They fall to 3-2. You can see both of those. South America doing fantastically well. Just see Mexico in feature match action. So that's where we are right now.
All right, thanks, Rich. Now, what we have for you is yet another of our famous deck techs. I have Zach Hill standing at the wall with Go Dennis Videgrius. Let's send it over there for a deck tech right now.